Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to talk about internal assessment. You know that the internal assessment is something that encompasses all the 21st century skills, which includes your research skills, your communication skills, your thinking, social skills, and self-management. So that's very important because it covers everything in your IB. What are the challenges that you have to overcome during your IA? So defining your research question, the first thing is you have to figure out what is your research question and what is the definition for your research question. That's the main, very important part. Understanding the IA criteria, and you have to properly do your time management. How do you do the time management? The time allocated for individual investigation is 10 hours. Okay. Let's see what are included in these 10 hours. What kind of activities included in these 10 hours? Your class time with your teacher to explain what is the IA criteria and what are the expectations from the IA. This is what I'm doing actually in the class and even right now by recording this video. Go through the necessary policies that pertain to the IA, example, the animal policy or animal experimentation policy, academic honesty policy, and those kind of things that we have already discussed. So these are included in these 10 hours. Individual session with the teacher, which is related to your research question and those kind of things. And then the design and planning your investigation, how you want to do that. And to check the authenticity of your work, which means that using the way that we are doing, it depends. For example, after submission your draft, it will be checked by Turnitin, or that's after submission of draft. But there are other things related to checking the authenticity because if you do the experiment, you cannot say, oh, I'm doing my experiment at my home. No, you cannot do that. I'm doing my experiment during the summer when I'm going back to my country. No, you cannot do that. Any type of experiment has to be done in the school under the supervision of your teacher. To write the first draft and get your teacher's feedback. So this is after the first draft, which means that by this time you have done so many things. I mean, you have almost done with your IA at this stage. What is the ideal 10 hours time management? Let's see. For example, suggested hours is like 1 hour for class time, like for brainstorming and formulation topic and research question. This is honestly we have spent more than 1 hour for this. Half an hour like individual consultation and approval of research question with the teacher's feedback. Yes, that's a half an hour. Data collection. So this is the main part for you to figure out how do you want to do your data collection, and this is after you're picking up the subject, picking up the topic, and then start to do the data collection. Half an hour is writing up the first draft and meeting with the teacher to get the feedback, right? And 2 hours to write up the final draft and submission after having checked with the plagiarism, such as Turnitin that we do. So it seems that only 10 hours is sufficient, but you know that it's not possible to get 5 to 6 hours data collection. You know that, and especially if you do the experiment, it's way beyond this. What are the criteria? The criteria is divided into personal engagement, exploration, analysis, evaluation, and communication. So for personal engagement, you have two marks. At this stage, your criterion is assessing your engagement with the individual investigation. For the exploration, which has the 6 marks, you will be assessed by the choice of research question and variable and procedure. With the analysis, which has also 6 marks, you will be assessed for your data processing and analysis. How do you want to do the analysis? That's the important part. And for the evaluation, which is again 6 marks, you will be evaluated or assessed for your skills in writing a conclusion and evaluating your procedure. And for the last part, which is communication, you will be assessed by the way that you are presenting your final report. Which criteria are holistic? What does that mean? This means that it applies to the whole IA report, and it's very important. These 2 criteria, which means PE or personal engagement, and communication, these are holistic. And the figure is after this slide. Personal engagement and communication take up like 25% of your IA grade. So let's see the picture over here. So this is the PE, personal engagement, and this is the communication. And both of them in total, you see that it is like 25% of the whole. But it is not just 25% because it is holistic, which means that it applies for the whole IA. So let's see what is written here. Now, 75% of your IA grade is dependent on these exploration, analysis, and evaluation. However, since PE applies to all of these, it is easy to undermine the grade in these specific areas if you ignore the expectations on personal engagement. Okay. So that was the first step for introducing what is IA and how you are doing that. And the next step would be like choosing a topic. How do you want to brainstorm for choosing your topic? Okay, start by identifying a topic or a subtopic that interests you. So interest is very important. And you are more likely to be engaged with that topic and you have a genuine interest in that topic. So that's your first move. The second thing is like your topic must be an appropriate level. For example, if your investigation is too simple, then the chances are not high for getting a high grade. If in doubt, you should discuss your idea with the teacher. So this is the second movement. The third one, ideally, you should investigate something that you do not already know the answer. Well, to me, this is very, this looks like a university level if you want to find something new, but that's the ideal. If you see over here, that's the ideal. However, it is not expected that you find new things in at the high school level. You know, we don't have time. It's only 10 hours. Come on, guys. Yeah. This can be a challenge, but you are more likely to obtain a high score by being original than by following a tried and tested procedure. Yeah, of course. But not that everyone can find new things in the IA, even only by just 5 or 6 hours data collection. That's crazy. If you decide to use a common procedure, think how you can modify it to demonstrate your personal engagement and initiative. So, by any chance, if you wanted to think something that has been done before, then you have to think about how to modify, because you need to input your personal engagement. This is something that most of you will be in this situation, because there are some ideas that comes out from the past, and you have to modify based on your personal engagement. And you know that this is very important issue for your IA. Okay, what are the different types of investigation? How many different types of investigation you can do? Let's go one by one. Different types of investigation. What does that mean? This means that you can have two types, which is called one as the primary data collection by having a hands-on experiment, which means that you do the experiment and you collect the data. That is called primary data. Or you can use database. So in this case, it's called secondary data. So both of these investigations is okay and possible for choosing your IA topic. Quantitative data includes numbers such as measurement in the laboratory, whereas qualitative data are descriptive, such as change of the color. So once you are collecting your data could be quantitative or qualitative. Both are possible. And the thing you should keep it in your mind that both are very important. You have to collect both as much as you can. So whichever investigation that you choose, it needs to be involve the collection of qualitative and quantitative. And however, investigation that produces only qualitative data is unlikely to score high. So that's the suggestion. Don't choose that investigation which has only qualitative. Try to have quantitative as well. Collecting primary data from a hands-on experiment is one of the most common way of collecting data. But you have to be careful once you are doing this. And when you choose your topic, the topic of your investigation, then it might be some limitations on your supplies and apparatus in your school. So that's what you have to check it out. If you are choosing a primary data collection, you have to make sure that you have the proper facilities, apparatus, and supplies in your school. And another factor for this primary data collection is that you have to be careful about the safety aspects, and it's not easy to just work with the hazardous materials or microbes, and these are the safety precautions. You have to make sure that your school is providing all these necessary facilities for avoiding the spread of the microbes, or having the clean bench, or those are things related to microbes, or the clean bench or hoods for working with the chemicals, or the places that the chemicals are stored. All of these things are important for following the precautions. Here is the website. Once you have the PowerPoint file, you can click on the link and see about some ideas that you can modify according to your study. Primary data could be collected using simulations. Simulations have the advantages over their primary data collection using a hands-on experiment for some reasons, and because it provides the opportunity to do your investigation at any time, including at home, and also ability to investigate the topics that would involve the use of potentially dangerous or expensive apparatus, which is not available in the school. That's the reason that it has the advantage over the hands-on experiment. But you have to make sure about the challenge that the students has on the simulation is that finding the simulation which is allowing for enough student input. So this means that this simulation should have the proper input data entry, because the variables needs to be chosen by the student rather than by the simulation itself. And if the simulation doesn't allow for a full range of variables that to be tested, then it is unlikely to be suitable for usage in your investigation. So that's the point for primary data collection using simulation. Here you can see some other websites in the primary data collection using simulation. You can check it out later by yourself. Secondary database collection is similar to simulation database, simulation collection, or simulation experiments. And it has the advantage over the hands-on experiments in the same way. For example, it provides the opportunity to work at any time, and including at home, and ability to investigate the topics which are potentially dangerous or expensive, and or the apparatus are not available at school. And there are some other links and database for here. You can check it out if you want to choose some database questions. There are also some guidelines for usage of the animals, participation, how to use the animal, and there is an animal policy at the Ivy World School with a specific guidelines. Basically is that we are not using animals because we don't want to harm animals in our experiments. This was the part 1 for IA assessment guideline that I have prepared. I'm going to prepare the next video in relation to criteria and what are the important things related to each criteria in a separate video, or in one video with a separate explanation for each of them. Thank you for watching.